Hi guys, welcome you all to my channel Explore Edu to Teach.
So today we'll be learning another important concept in control system called as the Routh-Hurwitz stability criteria. So to talk about it in short, it's one of the techniques to find out the stability of the system. You will be knowing there are various other techniques to find out the stability of the system, such as the Nyquist plot, the Bode plot, and many other techniques which we'll be covering in the further lectures. So please do subscribe to my channel so that you get notified anytime a new lecture goes live. There are many more lectures going to come on control system following the topic of stability analysis and many other topics. So do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Coming back to today's topic, which is Routh-Hurwitz stability criteria. As I said, it's one of the techniques to find out the stability of the system. So let us start with the topic. So basically, Routh-Hurwitz stability criteria is based on the tabulation of coefficient, which gives an array called as the Routh's array. So if you look down over here, there is an array which is formed, right, in the form of a table. Hence is called as Routh's array, and the technique is called as the Routh-Hurwitz stability criteria. So Routh-Hurwitz stability criteria is nothing else than a particular technique, like many other techniques, to find out the stability of the system. It has its own advantages as well as its own disadvantages. So according to the particular question, we can use the particular criteria. So let us understand how do we solve a particular question in order to determine the stability of the system through Routh-Hurwitz stability criteria. So the function f of s is given as a0 s raised to n, a1 s raised to n minus 1 plus a2 s raised to n minus 2, so on and so forth. So always remember, the first step to find out the stability of a particular system is that you have to know this particular equation. So you have to arrange the given equation in descending order of the degree. Okay, so it has to be n, n minus 1, n minus 2 in descending order. Second criteria is, if a term is missing, represent the coefficient of that term as 0. What do I mean by this? If you have s raised to n and then you directly have s raised to n minus 2, you don't have s raised to n minus 1. So do not skip it. Just mention as a1 as 0. So it will be 0 s raised to n minus 1. So always there are two steps. The first step is to find out the particular equation and arranging descending order of the degree. Second thing is, if there any term missing, please put that term and add a coefficient 0 in place of it. And third thing is that this particular equation is nothing else than the characteristic equation, which is given as 1 plus g of s into h of s as 0, wherein my 1 is a constant, my g is the forward transfer function, h of s is the feedback function, which is normally unity 1, and 0 is a constant. So I hope you are very clear with the three criteria. So whenever a particular characteristic equation is given to you, find out, and they are telling you to find out the stability of the system, please arrange the equation firstly in descending order of the degree. If there is any term missing, represent the coefficient of that particular term as 0 and frame the equation again. And please use the characteristic equation as 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. I hope I'm very clear with this. Okay. Now, how do you create the table from it? Because this is a table from which we can find out the stability of the system. So you have s raised to n, which is given as here, and s raised to n minus 1 as here. So you have a0, a2, and so on and so forth. Understood? So what you're going to do is, you're going to have a0, you're going to have a2, you're going to have a4, so on and so forth. And s raised to n minus 1 is a1, then a3, and so on and so forth. So what you have to do is that the highest degree will be coming over here and take the coefficients alternative manner, a0, then a2, and further on. Similarly, take the next degree over here and take the terms again in alternative manner, a1, then there would have been a3 over here, so on and so forth. So once you get the initial two rows, then you have to solve the other rows by yourself. Take the next thing as s raised to n minus 2 over here, and then b1. What is b1 equal to? a1 into a2 minus of a3 into a0 upon A1. You can see this expression given over here. Okay. Similarly, my B2 is equal to A1 into A4 minus of A5 into A0 upon A1. I hope I'm very clear. Then you have the next S raised to n minus 3, which is the next one. And the C1 will be B1 into A3 minus of B2 into A1 upon B1. I hope I'm very clear. So whenever a characteristic equation is given to you, first write down it in the form of a characteristic equation, that is 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. Write down the order in descending order, and if any term is missing, please replace the particular term with the coefficient 0. So I have given an example over here. How can you create a table from a given characteristic equation? Take the top degree, take the next degree, arranging it in order, and find out all the terms below it in the particular fashion. For example, B1 will be A1 into A2 minus A3 into A0 upon A1. B2 will be A1 into A4 minus of A5 into A0 upon A1. C1 will be B1 into A3 minus of B2 into A1 upon B1. All the equations are mentioned below. You can also download this particular PDF from the description box of this YouTube video so that you can have something in front of your eyes as well. I hope I'm very clear with this. If you have some confusion, don't worry. When we'll be solving the problems further, it will be getting clear to you. Okay. So let us start with the problems and let us try to apply the theoretical thing that we have learned over here onto the problems. Okay. So let us see the first question. The characteristic equation is given as s cube plus 6x square plus 11s plus 6 is equal to 0. Determine the stability of the system. So what was my first rule? I have to arrange the particular equation in the form of descending order. So no problem, it's already given to me descending order 3, 2, 1, 0. Correct? Okay. What is the next step? The next step is, if there is any particular term missing, add a coefficient as 0 to it. So there is no, if there's any term missing over here, if you see, you have to add 0. But there's no term missing because we have S3, we have S2, we have S1, we have S0. So there's no term missing. So directly we can create the table out of it. How do we create the table? The first degree is S cube and we write the terms in alternative form. 1 and 11. Then we have S square. Again we write in alternative form. 6, 6, so on and so forth. And then we have S, that is the next degree to it. And how do we find out this 10? It's given as 6 into 11 minus of 6 into 1 upon 6 is given as 10. And here it is 0. Why? Because 6 into 0, there is no term here, right? So it is 0. I hope I'm very clear with this. Again it is S. Here it should be S raised to 0, not S. It should be S raised to 0. I repeat, here it should be S raised to 0, not S. Okay. So it is given as 10 into 6 minus of 0 into 6 upon 10, that is given as 6. I hope I'm very clear with this. Since if you see the first column, okay, remember that the first column is all positive numbers, right? Neither there is any change in the sign. It's not like you have positive, you have negative. Since there is no change in the sign in the first column, it is either all positive, it is either all negative. So we can say it's a stable system. If there is a mixture of positive negative, then it is an unstable system. I hope I'm very clear with this. So let us go with the next problem, wherein the characteristic equation given as s cube plus 4s square plus s plus 16 is equal to 0. Again I prepare the table. I take s cube as my first term and s square as my second term, and I take alternative numbers 1 and 1 and 4 and 16. Again my s is given as 4 into 1 minus 16 upon 4, that is minus 12 by 4 is equal to minus 3. Again here it should be s raised to 0, not s. Okay. Again I repeat, it should be s raised to 0, not s. It's a mistake over here. It should be s raised to 0. I hope I'm very clear. So it is minus 3 into 16 minus 0 upon minus 3. It is 16 again. If you are getting confused with the values, just refer this formula. You will be able to do it. Now you see in the first column, unlike the previous problem, there are certain changes in the sign. 4 to minus 3, minus 3 to 16. It is neither all positive, it's neither all negative. Hence, you can straight away say it's an unstable system. And next, the number of changes in the sign. That is, there is one change in the sign, then there is second change in the sign, right? Positive to negative, negative to positive. Therefore, the number of changes in the sign is equal to 2. Hence, the number of right-hand poles is given as number of changes in the sign as 2. And the number of left-hand poles is given as degree minus the right-hand poles. What is a degree? It's 3 minus the right-hand poles is 2. Therefore, 1. I hope I'm very clear with this. I'll again give you a short summary if you have not understood the concept properly. See, Routh-Hurwitz is a particular method in which we are finding out the stability of the system like many other methods. In this, we are taking the characteristic equation, that is 1 plus g of s into h of s as 0. We are arranging the equation in descending order, and then if any term is missing in the particular equation, we are representing that coefficient as 0. From this particular equation, we are finding the Routh table. I've explained you the thing, and then we have this particular term b1, b2, c1 from the formula given below. In such a way, we can find out these both problems, where in the first problem, the entire first column is of the same sign. Hence, it's a stable system. In the second question, the entire first column is not of the same sign. There is a change in the sign, right? Positive, negative, negative to positive. Hence, it is an unstable system. And the number of change in sign is equal to 2. And the degree minus the number of change in the sign is equal to 1. Because 3 minus 2 is 1. Hence, if I have a particular question given to me, I am going to write the two steps, that is s cube and s square. Going to give the coefficients of it. Going to find out the total array. Then if there is a change in sign, the number of changes in sign is equal to the number of right hand poles, and the degree minus the number of changes sign, that is 3 minus 2 is equal to 1, is equal to number of left hand poles. I hope I am very clear. You can download the notes from the description box for better understanding. Now there are some special cases in this. Let us take the first case. When the first element of the row is 0 and all other elements is non-zero. For example, if you see in this particular question, the first element of a row is 0 and the other elements, that is, I'm talking about minus 2, it is a non-zero. So in that case, you have to solve in a particular technique, which I'll be explaining to you right now. So again, the characteristic equation is given to you. I'm going to check whether it's in descending order or not. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and s raised to 0. Perfect. Is there any term missing? No, all our terms are there. So I can just prepare the table from this particular thing. S raised to 5 and s raised to 4. S raised to 5 is equal to all the alternative numbers 1, 2, 3, and s raised to 4 is equal to 1, 2 and 5. And then start finding out the s cube term, s square term, so on and so forth. What is s cube? 1 into 2 minus of 1 into 2 upon 1 is 0. Then you have 1 into 3 minus 5 upon 1 is minus 2, so on and so forth. But since my first term is only 0 and the other terms are non-zero, so in that case, I'll take my first term as epsilon. I hope I'm getting clear. I'll take my first term as epsilon. This remains same, minus 2, and this remains 0. Now find out s square. What is s square given as? Minus of 2 epsilon plus 2, because minus of minus 2 upon epsilon. Similarly, it is 5 into epsilon minus 0 upon epsilon is 5. In such a way, you can find out the entire Routh table. I hope I'm very clear. I have explained you how to find a Routh table from this particular method. So you can refer this. Now, what you have to do is that since the terms are present form of epsilon, replace my epsilon value with nothing else than I mentioned over here, right? So what you're going to do is that you're going to replace your value of epsilon straight away with nothing else than a simple equation, that is, you can replace the epsilon with 0. Okay, replacing the epsilon with 0. So in that case, what will happen is that if you see my s cube, you can just change this line over here. You can take epsilon as 0 over here. I hope I'm very clear. Okay, so the value of epsilon becomes here 0. Okay, next I have, so if you just keep on putting the value of 0 over here, anywhere you want to, you will get this particular table. I hope I'm very clear. So what you need to do is, when there is a particular row you get, where the first term is 0 and all other elements are non-zero, please replace the first element with epsilon, write down the step again and do the entire calculation. Then replace the epsilon with 0. Here it is given wrongly. I'm sorry for it. It should be epsilon tending to 0. Put the epsilon value as 0. You will get this entire equation over here, entire table over here. Then again, as I told you, there are two changes in sign, right? So the number of right hand poles is equal to the number of changes in sign is equal to 2. And the number of left hand pole is equal to the degree, that is 5, minus 2, which is a right hand pole, is equal to 3. I hope I am very clear with this. Now we move to the next case, wherein the entire row is equal to 0. Okay, wherein the entire row is equal to 0. So in that case, what can I see here? If you see, only one term was 0. But if there is a case wherein the entire row is 0, what will happen is that if still there, so when a row of 0 exists, if still there is a change in sign, it is surely unstable. If not, it can be marginally stable. So what does it mean is that whenever you find a row of 0, okay, so there can be two conditions for that. Either it can be marginally stable or either it can be unstable. But it's not possible to be completely stable. So whenever you get a particular question in the paper, like for example in competitive exam, and you're getting a Routh-Hurwitz table wherein an entire row is coming as 0, and they're telling you whether the equation is particular system is stable or not, it is definitely not stable. You can straight away tell it without even solving it further. Because when you get a particular row of 0, in that case, my system can be either marginally stable or it can be unstable, but it cannot be completely stable. I hope I'm very clear. So let us take a question on it. So we have s raised to 6 plus 2s5 plus 8s4 plus 12s cube plus 20s square plus 16s plus 16. Take s raised to 6 and take s raised to 5. Write the alternative coefficients, and start solving s4, s3, s2, s1, s0. When you solve for s3, you'll see that the entire row has become 0. So in that case, what do you need to do? Let us see. So when you're getting the entire row as 0, please differentiate the earlier row and write down the next step. That is 2s raised to 4, the upper equation, plus 12s square plus 16. Why is 12s square? Because all this alternative, right? It is s raised to 4, s square and s raised to 0. Differentiate this particular equation which is given to you over here and you will get 8s cube plus 24s is equal to 0. Now you solve the entire table. When you solve the entire table, you are seeing that there is no change in sign in the first column. But as I told you, it cannot be completely stable. It can be either marginally stable or unstable. So what I'm doing is that to find out whether marginally stable or unstable, I'm taking this particular s raised to 4 equation. That is 2s raised to 4 plus 12s square plus 16. This is my auxiliary equation. Find out the roots of it. Now in these roots, what happens is that if you solve the roots of this particular equation, you will get plus or minus root 2j and you will get plus or minus 2j. Okay. Now if you see, the roots are non-repetitive. Hence it is marginally stable. I hope I am very clear with this. So what you're going to do when there is a particular row of 0 coming in the table, take the earlier equation, differentiate it to get this equation, Solve the entire table again. If there is no change in sign, there can be two conditions such as marginal stable or unstable. So take the differentiable equation, that is 2s raised to 4 plus 12s square plus 16, which is a equation above the row of 0. Solve it. If you are getting non-repetitive terms on the j omega axis, such as plus root j minus root 2j, 2j minus 2j, they are all non-repetitive, right? They are all unique. Hence, my equation becomes marginally stable. Had there been solution like plus or minus root 2j plus or minus root 2j 2 times, then there would have been repetitive terms on the j omega axis and it would have been unstable. I hope I'm very clear. Don't worry, again we'll have a summary of it at the end of the lecture, so don't worry. Now there's one particular question wherein we have, for the given characteristic equation, find the value of k for stability, k max, frequency of the oscillation. Okay, so the equation is given to you, s square plus 8s square plus 4s plus k equal to 0. So what you're going to do is, I told you take the higher degree and take the lower degree then. Here we have to first check whether there's any term missing. No. And it's in descending order also, so we are good to go. So take 1, 4 all the alternative terms, 8k all the alternative terms, and find out the first column. Now if you see in the first column, we want that there should be no change in the sign if the system has to be stable. Since they are asking me to find out the value of k for stability, my first column, as I told, should have no change in sign. Since 1 and 8 both are positive numbers, that means my this term and my this term should also be positive numbers. Hence, I am taking 32 minus k upon 8 as greater than 0 and k greater than 0. If you solve this further, you will get 0 greater than k greater than 0 and smaller than 32. Hence, my marginal value, that is the value up to which my system can be stable, k marginal will be 32. I hope I am very clear with this. Then take the quadratic equation, that is my s raised to 2 equation, that is 8s square plus k is equal to 0. Take the value of k as 32, k marginal value, and you will get the s value as plus or minus 2j. Hence, the frequency of oscillation is 2 radians per second. I hope I am very clear with this. So when an equation is given to you in such a way, find out whether there is any missing term and whether it's in descending order or not. If it is, just solve the table. The first column should have all the same sign. Hence, taking my this and this value to be greater than 0. Find out the maximum value of k, which is the marginal value of k. Then find out the frequency of oscillation. I hope I'm very clear with this. Okay. So now we'll be taking one particular question wherein we'll be finding out a gate question. Okay, so please note down this question very well. It's there in the description box. You can download from there also. So it says the characteristic of a LTI, that is a linear time invariant system, is given as s raised to 5 plus 2s raised to 4 plus 3s cube plus 6s square minus 4s minus 8 is equal to 0. Please note it down with me. Pause the video and we'll do it together so that you have a better understanding of it. Okay. It says the number of roots that lie strictly on the left side of the S-plane is. So this is a very famous question in competitive exam. So let us try to understand how do you solve this particular question. See, if you see, if I look at the particular equation, right, you will see there is a change in sign in the equation only. It's plus, 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 then minus. So seeing the equation only, we can say that the system is unstable. I hope I'm very clear with this. Seeing the equation only, I can say that the system is unstable. So if in question, they ask you a particular characteristic equation is given to you and tell whether the system is stable or not, just see the equation. If there's a change in sign in the equation only, you can directly say that the equation is unstable. Hence, I have written a tip over here, which can be very useful for you in the competitive exam, wherein time really matters. As we can find, there is a change in the sign in the characteristic equation. Without even solving, we can say that it's an unstable equation. So in the competitive exam, wherein time really matters, you can just check the equation, and if they ask you stability or instability, you can straight away say it's an unstable equation by just seeing the equation and without even solving the array. Okay, but for proper analysis, let us go forward. So we are creating the Routh-Hurwitz table over here, where we have s raised to 5 and s raised to 4. S5, S4. We are taking all the alternative terms one after the other and solving the equation. If you see, S cube turns out to be a row of 0. That is this particular case, my case 2. So what we are going to do is, we are going to take the earlier equation, 2s raised to 4 plus 6s square minus 8, and we are going to differentiate it to get 8s cube plus 12s. So I'm just writing it over here and solving my equation further. Now what happens is that, how do you get s square? It is 8 into 6 minus 12 into 2 upon 8, and solve the equation. If you see in the first column, there is a change in sign. If you see in the first column, there is a change in sign. That means the number of roots on the right half of the S-plane will be equal to 1. Why it will be equal to 1? Because if you see, it's totally positive, 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 and then there is a negative. Understood? So it is only one negative. Hence we have, since there is one change in sign in the first column, the number of right hand poles is equal to 1. Now consider the auxiliary equation. That is 2s raised to 4 plus 6s square minus 8. Solve the equation as I have solved over here. You can take s square st, rewrite the equation, find out the quadratic equation. I have given all these steps over here. You can find out. Now if you see, the terms are non-repetitive, right? Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2j. So it's not like any repetitive term. So I can say the number of right hand poles is 1. The number of poles lying on the imaginary axis is 2, right? Plus or minus 2j. So lie on the imaginary axis. Hence the number of left hand pole will be equal to 5. How does the 5 come? 5 is from the characteristic equation degree minus 1, that is the right hand pole, minus the number of imaginary axis pole, that is 2, is equal to 5 minus 3 is 2. That is the number of left hand poles is equal to 2. I hope I am very clear with this. So we'll just have a quick revision. The Routh-Hurwitz method is nothing else than a particular technique to find out the stability of the system, and we have a particular characteristic equation which will be given to us. Now in the characteristic equation, arrange in descending order. If there is any term missing, please replace that particular term with a coefficient 0 and then draw this particular Routh-Hurwitz table. I have told you how to draw it. You can see it here, and then you can solve the entire table. If in the first column there is a change in sign, it is considered to be an unstable equation. Since here there is no change in sign, it's a stable equation. Since here there are two changes in sign, it's an unstable equation with the number of poles on the right half of the plane given as 2. Then there can be different cases wherein the only one element of a row, the first element of the row can be 0, other element will be non-zero. So in that case, take the first element as epsilon, rewrite the step again and solve the equation. Replace your epsilon as 0. It is given infinity over here. I am very sorry for that. It should be 0. Write the table again and then see how many changes in sign are there. There are 2 changes in sign. So number of right hand poles is 2 and the left hand pole is the degree 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. There can be a row of 0 which can also exist. If there is a row of 0 which comes, entire row of 0, understand either my system can be marginally stable or unstable, but it can never be completely stable. I hope I am very clear with this. Solve the entire equation again and you will see that if my value of s, if my roots are non-repetitive, then it is a marginally stable system. So first you need to check whether there is a change in sign in the first column or not. If there is a no change in sign, then my particular system can be marginally stable or unstable in case of my complete row of 0 kind of table. Since my roots of my auxiliary equation, that is this equation which is above the row of 0, has non-repetitive terms, it is considered to be a marginally stable. Had it had the repetitive terms, then it would have been unstable equation. On this basis, I have solved certain questions Please go through it, okay, understand it. If you have any kind of issues, do let me know. And I hope you are very clear with this. I have taken maximum efforts to make you understand this concept. Please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, and please share it to as many people as you can, because this concept is very important not only in control system but in many other subjects where you find out the stability of the equation and the Laplace equation is given to you. So please subscribe. I'm not finding people subscribing to my channel. They are watching the video but not subscribing. So please subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and share it to as many people as you can so that many people can get benefited out of it. So thank you so much. God bless you.